Week 11 of the college football season. Student section pick 'em. Steer, Shelly, Smitty, and a very special guest, former Virginia Tech football player, Sam Rogers. Sam, you were a guest on the student section podcast, and now you're on pick 'em. How does it feel to be a two-time guest?
Man, it is an honor. I'll tell you what. Big time.
Big time. We know. I mean, it's fine. You'll just get a huge bump in popularity from this, you know.
I know it's gonna be big.
Officially a recurring guest of Dorm Room Sports.
You're our first recurring guest too.
Yeah, and you got to shout out Easy Day Training if you're going to bring me on, Brian. But I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
That is fair. See, you can. That's a help me out here, Shelly.
Self-promotion.
Advertising.
Yeah. Like a shameless plug. That's the word I was looking for. Not really.
Not even shameless though.
It's a plug. It's a good plug. But another week of picks. I was the only one who went at least somewhat mediocre last week in picks. Shelly and Smitty both had brutal weeks. Shelly, you especially.
Me?
Had a horrible week last week. I think you may have won 2 games last week.
Hey, you know what? We just keep grinding. We keep putting our head down. We keep making terrible picks. And that's what you know what? If I'm going to have a reputation on the show, I'm going to be the guy that you just bet against, you know, because if you see what I'm picking, just go against it. Like that's clearly the theme of the show.
You're a man of the people. You're telling people what not to take instead of what to take.
Exactly.
You're a man of the people. But let's get underway here. Upsets of the week. We always start with it. So we'll go Shelly, Smitty, me, and then Sam, you'll finish us off. All right. Shelly.
All righty.
Upset.
We head to the beautiful state of Oklahoma for this upset. I'm taking the Army Black Knights over the Tulane Green Wave, and let me tell you why. If Army can control the football, if Army can control the pace of the game, they will beat Tulane.
Time out. Tulane is in New Orleans.
Excuse me, New Orleans. I was thinking Tulsa. Excuse me.
I was about to say, Tulane, I did not know this game was being played in Oklahoma.
Tulane, Tulsa, they're basically the same football program, right?
Basically. I mean, Tulsa's a lot better, but yeah.
I will say this, too. I was checking out Tulane's defense. It gives up 432 yards per game. Army only gives up 275 yards of total offense.
Well, teams only get like 3 minutes of offense against Army because they run the ball the entire time.
That's my point. If Army can control the pace of the game, control the football, they're going to win this game. They're 6-1 for a reason. They beat up on the best football team in the country, the Citadel, for a reason. They're halfway decent football team this year.
I love it.
Hey, and another interesting thing to point out, they actually kept Cincinnati within 2 touchdowns. Not a lot of good teams can say that they've done that.
That's true. Cincinnati's beating up on everybody right now.
Give me Army.
All right, Smitty.
On Arizona over USC.
A bold move.
Huge move.
A bold move.
Huge move this week. It was either between that or Middle Tennessee beat Marshall.
Easy there. Don't talk on Marshall like that.
Grant Wells.
I like Marshall.
Grant Wells has something to say about that.
I said last week I was a big fan of Marshall.
Good. Then we don't pick against Marshall or Coastal Carolina on this show. That is 2 no-nos.
True.
2 no-nos.
Very true.
I like your PlayStation music in the background, by the way. That's solid stuff there.
You like it?
With your gaming headset on, boy, Smitty. All right, my pick, Colorado over Stanford. I didn't like how Stanford looked against Oregon last week, and Colorado put up 48 points last week. So, well, easy goes it. Colorado to win. Sam, you're upset.
All right, so what you need to know about me is my picks are purely emotional. They're not based in facts or anything. I love Tua. I love his younger brother playing for Maryland. We're going Maryland over OSU because I hate OSU too. Not a big fan. I didn't like them when I played them. Still don't like them. So Maryland over OSU. It's going to be a big one. Maryland coming off a couple big wins against Minnesota and Penn State. They had a rough one early on in the year, but I think they were just, shaking the dust off a little bit. So I think Maryland's going to come and smack OSU, and it's going to be incredible.
Could Maryland win 2 straight games as being 20-point underdogs?
I think they
Actually,
are.
maybe
I think
3.
exactly.
Aren't they 20-point underdogs against Minnesota too? I think they were. They might have been. This could be a 3rd straight game with an outright win of being 20-point underdogs. That would be incredible. Now this one would easily be the most impressive of the 3, but yeah, Maryland's a bold. That might be more bold than Smitty. That's a bold pick there.
I told you, purely emotional, but there's some facts to back it up a little bit,
I love it. I love it.
But very emotional.
All right, let's hop on to spreads here. This is a game I'm nervous about. I don't ever like this game every year. Miami at Virginia Tech. Tech is favored by 2.5 at home. It's very, very odd that a unranked team is favored by 2.5 against the number 9 team in the country, but it's like that for a reason. So, Shelly, give us your pick.
Last week was a tough one for the Hokies. They lost to a far less superior. My English is terrible. Liberty had no business being in that game with Virginia Tech. They're not as good of a program. They've had some cupcakes along the way to bolster that record that they have, that they haven't lost a game with. They are not the best team in Virginia. That team resides in Charlottesville, but that's a topic for another day. Give me the Hokies.
That team resides in Lynchburg.
Give me the Hokies.
Oh, Shelly.
Never thought I'd hear those words come out of Shelly's mouth.
This is a bounce back week for Fuente's squad. I think this is where Herbert just goes absolutely nuts. Probably runs for 300 yards. Don't even let Herndon Hooker throw the football. Just run all game.
The problem is I think he's had like 1 incompletion in the last 3 games.
Doesn't matter. Just let him run.
He was 8 for 8 against who they play right before Liberty? Was it Louisville, I think, right?
Yep, Louisville.
Yeah, he went 8 for 8, and then last week I think he only had 1 incompletion, but he ran the ball for 100 and some yards.
I'm just saying, Virginia Tech, in all seriousness, has one of the most underrated offensive lines in the country. That unit is legit.
I don't like the fact that you're saying that because you're a UVA fan, and if you're saying Virginia Tech's going to win this game, then I might be in some trouble here. But Smitty,
I'm going with Tech, man. I'm going with Tech. I think this week's going to be a big week for them. And like I said last week, they're getting ready for UVA, so this is just another game to build them, get them ready for it.
All right. Going to you. I don't normally pick Miami a lot on this. Last week I picked Miami and they didn't cover the spread, so I'm really hoping my fortune's turn here. I'm going to say Miami outright just because I feel like I'm obligated to. But I don't know. I think Virginia Tech's defense is a little bit shaky, and by a little bit I mean a lot of it shaky. And this could probably be a 49-45 ball game. But Miami doesn't do well against mobile quarterbacks, so it's going to be a really close game. Last year, Miami threw 3 picks in the first quarter. Virginia Tech scored on all 3. Miami was down 21-0 early, just couldn't come back. So I think with a new offense, new game plan, and De'Ara King having a 530-yard performance last Friday night, I think Miami gets it done. Sam.
A little bit of a history lesson for you, Brian. Last year, Virginia Tech just got smacked by Duke, right? And everybody was hating on them. The world was ending. Virginia Tech was terrible, all this stuff. They had to go down to Miami. And what happens? Hendon Hooker leads them. They win 42-35. Rewind it back to 2016. Virginia Tech comes off a loss against Syracuse, and then they got a quick turnaround to play Miami on a Thursday night at home in Lane Stadium. What happens? They come out and dominate them 34-16. right? So the point is, when Virginia Tech's backs are up against the wall, they end up showing out, right? Unfortunately, there's some games when they should win by a lot and they don't. But it seems to be when they're the underdogs, they end up showing up a little bit. So I'm taking the Hokies. I hope Herbert is back. I hope he's back. He had a little hamstring injury that he was dealing with. I know Justin Hamilton is gunning just to get his guys going, the defensive coordinator. And, they've had a rough go of it so far. It seems like they haven't really had all their guys there to kind of build a sense of unity on the defense. So I'm excited for them to come out. One more thing about this. It is a 12 o'clock game for Miami. You are traveling to a stadium with no fans, and it's at 12 o'clock. That's a huge disadvantage, especially in this year. That's a tough thing to pull off. So there's a lot of factors going against Miami.
I'm loving my pick now. Loving my pick.
I'm so glad I actually get to. Well, where'd my head go? Oh, there we go. I'm so glad I actually get to watch this game now, though. I wasn't supposed to be able to watch it on Saturday. Plans got canceled. I get to sit in front of the TV and watch Miami just blow it apart.
There's the confidence that I love to see from Brian.
Confidence has arrived. It's usually comes about this time in the week that I start losing confidence in Miami heading into Saturday. So, but they proved me wrong 6 times this year, so I'm okay. Moving on, Wake Forest and North Carolina, 2 teams playing actually good football right now. North Carolina played NC State and Duke in the last 2 games, but put up 40-plus points in both of them. I think they put up like 56 against Duke. So the offense is clicking. Wake Forest has been playing a lot better football all year. That team has surprised a lot of people, and including Virginia Tech, in which they beat Virginia Tech earlier this year.
Yeah,
and so Wake Forest traveling to Chapel Hill. North Carolina's 13.5-point favorites. Shelly.
All right. So early this year, as you mentioned, UNC defeated North Carolina State and Duke. If you're keeping track, there are 4 ACC teams located in the state of North Carolina. The last one on the list for UNC is Wake Forest. They're going to do something this Saturday at noon that will shock everyone on this panel who's picking against UNC. They're going to complete the sweep. They're going to sweep the state, and they're going to be the kings of North Carolina. Sam Howell will lead this team to victory on Saturday by at least 14 points. Honestly, maybe even more. I don't think Wake Forest is quite prepared for an offense quite like this. A team that can absolutely bang with anybody. Now, the defense is definitely a little suspect, but I'm not worried about it. Sam Hartman has all the hype. He had the QB1, all the hoopla that comes with all that. Good quarterback. He's not ready for Sam Howell. Give me UNC.
I disagree with you, Shelly. I think Sam Hartman's ready for it. And I think he definitely will keep it under 13 points. Will he pull it off? It might be a stretch, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was a 3-point game. I think Sam Hartman's ready for it. Sam Howell's been playing too good the last few weeks. He's bound to have a bad game. Wake will take care of it.
I love it. Shelly, you mentioned that Wake Forest isn't ready for an offense like this. Aside from Clemson, because that game just doesn't count every year. You just throw out the Clemson game every year. They've given up 20-plus points in one game this season. That was to NC State back when they had everyone healthy. In the last 4 games, they've given up 14 points. Oh, excuse me. More than 23 points, not 20. More than 23. Last 4 games, they've given up 14 points, 23, 16, and 14. And that 16 was against a pretty good Virginia Tech offense.
May I rebuttal with something real quick?
Correct. You may.
All right. They gave up 14 to Campbell, who was essentially a Division II team.
I was getting there.
Shout out to my boy Caleb Sneed. He's a wide out there. Hell of a player. They gave up 23 to a UVA team whose offense has been suspect. I believe this was a game without Brennan Armstrong when Lindell Stone had to throw the football. That's a sight to see. The Virginia Tech game, yes, that was a very good game. And then they gave up 14 to Syracuse, whose basically offense is equivalent to watching paint dry. Boring. They don't do anything.
Unless they play Clemson. Then apparently they just want to turn on the Jets on offense.
Yeah, but that's, again, everybody comes play against Clemson. But
So they haven't faced a good offense yet. Besides
when-
getting Clemson.
and
But
when they did, they got the defense got exposed a little bit.
you are pulling my Georgia card on me right now. And I don't like it. Wake Forest plus 13.5. Sam.
Yeah, I'm taking Wake Forest too. I feel like I know teams through Virginia Tech because I just watch Virginia Tech. To be honest with you, I don't really watch much else. But UNC's defense is suspect. I mean, even looking at game, like you can look at any of the games they're playing, they're giving up points, right? They have a ton of points to Virginia, huge loss to Virginia, which I get is a tough game again to get excited for when they're going traveling to Charlottesville, but still, I mean, giving up 44 to them is huge. UNC also gave up 45 to Virginia Tech, and that was a game. I don't know if you remember watching that. It seemed like UNC was going to smack them. They were up by like 3 scores, and then there was a point when in the second half, Virginia Tech brought it back in within 3 in the second half. So UNC has trouble putting teams away. They had a lot of high expectations this year, and they honestly have not met them. Wake Forest, on the other hand, if you look at Dave Clawson's resume, ex Richmond Spider, right? He's had good improvement each year. And honestly, I feel like he has a team that kind of believes in what he's doing. They're kind of flying below the radar. I actually like Wake Forest. They play good defense. There's nothing really flashy about them, and they're at least going to cover the spread. So I'm taking Wake Forest.
Love it. I love it. Go Demon Deacons. Shelly, this is a game that caught my eye. Notre Dame favored by 13.5 at Boston College. You go ahead.
If you asked me before the start of last week if I thought that Notre Dame would A, cover, or even B, win this game, I would be unsure. But this past weekend, Notre Dame proved something to me, that they are a good, honestly, a great football team. That's not something that we can, say with a lot of confidence in the last 10 years under the Brian Kelly, not Chip Kelly. I messed that up last episode on the student section. Ian Book impressed me on Saturday. The guy's clearly a competitor. He can actually throw the football every now and then. He can also run it really well too. Boston College has exceeded all expectations that I've had personally, and a lot of people have had. They're a good football team. But in the battle of 2 Catholic schools, I'm going to have to give the edge to Notre Dame.
Okay.
Let me see a lot of touchdown Jesus this weekend, even though it's at Boston College. They should cut 2 touchdown Jesus every time Notre Dame scores. It's going to happen a lot.
All right, Smitty.
I've said this since Notre Dame's first game this year. It comes down to Ian Book. The game is in his hands. And last week, I had that feeling. I went with him. It paid off. He's coming off of a career high game. He might not have put up the numbers, but the career high in beating Clemson. I think you're stupid if you don't ride Notre Dame here. You're crazy. Because they just came off of a huge win. They're looking to punch somebody else in the mouth, and they're here to prove a statement. And I think they'll beat Boston College by more than 21 points. I don't think 13.5. I think it should be a lot higher.
For that reason alone is why I'm going with Boston College. Here's my take. So Notre Dame has already shattered at one expectation this year of beating Clemson. No one thought they would beat Clemson. No one really thought that game would even be close, even with Uiagalelei at quarterback. Notre Dame obviously just came off of a big win against against Clemson. Sorry,
Woohoo!
Notre Dame just came off a big win against Clemson. That game was at home, obviously. Now, will they play this game? Who knows? Because the students rush the field. Probably not the best idea in the world. But Notre Dame is riding high right now. Boston College comes to play against good teams. They do, for some odd reason, it's just what they do. They beat Syracuse 16-13 last week. Obviously, they played down to their competition too. But Notre Dame likes to choke in games where everyone expects them to win. Boston College is going to surprise some folks, and that's why I may dabble a little bit in the money line here. I think if Notre Dame is still riding high off that Clemson win, I think Boston College can come out and give them a little punch in the mouth early and Notre Dame playing catch up. All right, Sam.
Yeah, I think this is one of those games where it's just a simple question. Like, do you believe Notre Dame is legit or not? Like, do you believe they are who they showed they were against Clemson? All right. So, like, what a bad team will do is after a big win like that, they're going to play down to their competition. They're going to, sleepwalk through the first half and then try to play catch up. Good team will come out and smoke them. They're a better team across the board. They should come out and win. So it's really just, do you believe Notre Dame's legit? Do you believe they're a college football playoff team? Do you believe that they're going to win the ACC? Like, is that what you believe about them? And I'm betting on them. I believe they have all the pieces. I believe they're going to do it. But this is a trap game, so we'll find out a lot about Notre Dame. If they come out and smoke Boston College, I think it's safe to say this team's legit and they're going to go pretty far.
It's a big game. I think, since they beat Clemson, this is probably their second biggest game of the regular season. And I say that not because of the opponent, but because of the aftermath of beating the number one team in the country. Like Sam said, it's all about is this a good team or is this a good team or a great team? Because if this is just a mediocrely good team, Boston College is going to hang around with them. But and that's what I think Notre Dame is. I don't know. Something about Boston College and playing good teams.
I guess the question, maybe I phrase it wrong. Maybe it's not good or great. Maybe is this a mature team or not? Because mature teams end up winning championships, right?
Yeah.
So they're obviously a great team. Are they mature enough to go off that emotional high and come back down and still play good football?
Yep.
So.
Yep. Reminder, Boston College had the lead against Clemson for all but 2 minutes.
Right. You're right.
Just saying.
I also don't think Clemson's as mature as they've been in the past. But
also without Trevor Lawrence, but who's
still got a stud back there. When you put up 40 points, you should win games.
Yeah, that's true. All right, moving on to Smitty's game of the week. South Alabama at Louisiana Lafayette. The whole Raging Cajuns are favored by 15.5. Shelly.
Simply because our resident Raging Cajun fan is Jacob Smithers. I'm going with South Alabama to cover. I think Louisiana Lafayette wins this game outright, but I don't think they cover. This is one of those emotional picks, just going against Smitty.
I love it. Oh, Sam's doing the deed. All right, Smitty. We all know where this is going.
Cajuns, baby. They're going to be partying in the Bayou all weekend long. Big win. And honestly, they went out and they will fight for a national championship.
You can't lose one game from the Sun Belt Conference and compete for a national championship.
Somehow, some way, they're going to make it happen.
You might be able to go undefeated in the Sun Belt Conference and not compete for a national championship.
Coastal Carolina's going to do it.
Right.
And if you had to throw any money on this would be a lock, and this is how you win money this week. If you're listening to any of my bets, I'm telling you, this is the one that will definitely hit.
Oh, man. Yeah, South Alabama is going to keep this game within 7 points. Louisiana Lafayette doesn't really like to play in blowouts. I think they get bored. And I think they definitely think they'll get bored if they play in a blowout. So they just like to keep it close. Their last – wow. Their largest win of the season was against Iowa State, the first game of the season. Since then, a 3-point win, a 2-point win, a 3-point loss, a 4-point win, a 10-point win, and a 7-point win. They haven't even beaten anybody by 16 points all year. Smitty, I'm sorry. But South Alabama.
All right.
Damn.
My turn. So originally I had South Alabama, and then I was like, Smitty's so excited about this. I want to partner with him in this. And then he started talking, and I was like, I just can't do it. I couldn't do it. So South Alabama, they're gonna win by a lot.
Oh, going with the outright. Oh man. I love it. I love it. Sorry, Smitty.
All right.
Uh,
They're going to prove everybody wrong this Saturday.
Speaking of proving everybody wrong, Ohio State travels to Maryland. Ohio State's 25.5-point favorites. The Terrapins are proving everybody wrong by just beating the brakes off of Penn State in College Station last week. Is it College Station? What's Penn State? What is it?
Happy Valley.
Happy Valley.
College,
Big
pretty sure it's called State College.
State College. Thank you. It's College Station, Texas A&M. I always get those.
College Park is Maryland.
Park is Maryland. See, there's too many college and state and Shelly.
All right, I want you guys to repeat after me.
No, I will not.
OH!
Shouldn't have won the national championship. 2002. Sorry, what was it?
This Ohio State football team is one of my favorites in the country. I know that goes against a lot of you guys' beliefs here. I love everything that Justin Fields does at the quarterback position. This dude is a phenomenal quarterback. He does not get enough love, in my opinion. I think that cat out of BYU, Zach Wilson's stealing a lot of Justin Fields' credit. I think Justin Fields is the second best quarterback in college football behind Trevor Lawrence. That dude is far and away the best, but Justin Fields is second. This is an Ohio State team that is on a mission, and that mission is to win the national championship. Maryland is just a bump in the road for them. And honestly, this Maryland team has been very surprising. They've played very well to this point. But you guys are missing the key factor of this Maryland team and why I am not sold on them. They are a Maryland athletic program. They are destined to blow up on themselves. This is an Ohio State team that is built for those blow-ups. They will feast on your mistakes. And Maryland, the Cinderella story will end in week 3 for you guys. Ohio State by 1,000,000.
You should be the voiceover for Ohio State hype video this week.
Honestly, I should.
Feast on your mistakes. I feel like that's just like something that you'd run through a brick wall for on game day. All right, Mitty.
Thank you.
Of course.
I don't like Ohio State. Don't like Justin Fields.
How?
That's all the reason I have.
Your logic right there, Shane. I don't know how hard it is to comprehend. It's just pure logic.
The math isn't adding up there, Smitty. You threw too many statistics in my face there.
Yeah, you like Smitty's logic? Watch this. Ohio State shouldn't have won the national championship in 2002. Should have gone to Miami. Miami should have had the dynasty, not Ohio State. Therefore, Ohio State will not cover this week.
Brian, you need to close the yearbook.
I'm just saying, if we had won the national championship in 2002, we'd still probably be relevant. But
I was 20.
Brian, when were you born?
1999.
You're 3. Nice.
I was 3. I've watched that video of the infamous ghost call so many times, though. It's really heavy in my heart, even though I never watched that game.
You know what?
I swear, that began our decline in 2003. Like our decline began in 2003, and I swear if we won the national championship, it would only continue to rise.
The good old days when you were 1 year old and 2 years old, man, you miss those, don't you?
I do.
Miami fans are stuck in the early 2000s. They're
UVA fans stuck in basketball.
Hey, basketball school, baby.
Hey, we're a football school.
Haven't been doing a lot of that.
Number 9 in the country.
Am I up?
Yeah, see, Shelly, you don't have much logic there. Yes, you are, Sam. You're up.
Maryland.
Yeah, good Terrapins.
Next.
Don't come crying to me when Maryland breaks your heart like they do every year.
Maryland did average 60 points a game through 3 games last year, and then after that, I think they won 1 game. So,
All right, part of me is not going to care too much if the old Ohio State does win, though, because the game next week against Indiana, as long as Indiana beats Michigan State, it's going to be pretty sweet, to be honest with you.
yeah, it's gonna be sweet when Ohio State loses that game.
Yeah, another conversation.
But speaking of, yeah, all right. So Wisconsin and Michigan. Wisconsin's favored by 4. Wisconsin hasn't played in 2 weeks. Michigan have come off of 2 brutal losses. Shelly.
Yeah, that little layover is what scares me for Wisconsin. And they proved to be a very good football team when they were playing. I'm blanking on their quarterback's name that threw for 5. That man's a beast. However, COVID got him.
Right.
Swiped him up and sidelined him for 3 weeks, which makes no sense. Why the Big Ten has a 3-week, I guess, quarantine period for their players instead of the 10 to 14 day that literally every other conference has been going by and has had pretty good success with. But that's irrelevant now. I think Michigan is fighting now for Jim Harbaugh to keep his job, and this will be a game that, you'll see if Jim Harbaugh still has the locker room. I think this is going to be a game that Michigan wins outright. Honestly, if worst case scenario, they keep it within 3. I think Michigan will win this game outright, though. Simply because Wisconsin hasn't played in 3 weeks, and Michigan's still they're still a decent football team there.
Yep. All right. Mitty.
I'm going with Wisconsin here. My reasoning behind it is something that Shelly will love. Wisconsin was my team back in the day of the PlayStation 2 NCAA football. That was a team to play with. Just ground and pound offense. And I haven't watched either team play all year, so I'm just going with Wisconsin here just because.
I love it. I'm going to go with Michigan. Wisconsin played Illinois in their first game, who has shown to be just as bad as everyone thought they would be. And Graham Mertz went 20 for 21, 240 some yards and 5 touchdowns. That's a great day, but you're playing a practically high school football team. Illinois is horrible. Wisconsin, once again, like Shelly said, they haven't played in 2-3 weeks because of COVID. And Michigan needs a bounce back win, and Jim Harbaugh will lose all the big games, which this really is a big game, but he'll lose a lot of big games and then just decides to win one out of nowhere that saves his job for the next year. I think this is that one game that Wisconsin will slip up and maybe lose by a last second field goal or it'll be close, but I think Michigan might win outright. All right, Sam.
I'm going Wisconsin because, again, emotional. My brother loves Wisconsin, big Wisconsin guy. Not a huge Harbaugh fan. I think I'd like him if I played for him, but I'm just not a huge fan. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Wisconsin. They just got these big old offensive linemen. They love to run the freaking rock. And how can you not like that if you like football? You're going Wisconsin.
Oh, yeah. The offensive lineman factory.
I will say, Sam, if your football coach, your head football coach, wore football cleats on the sideline, you're telling me you wouldn't run through a brick wall for that guy.
That's what I said. If I was playing for him, I'm sure I'd like him. But, from a distance, I'm like, he's a little much.
Are you? So you're a high school football coach. You gonna wear cleats on the sideline?
No, I'm not gonna be a distraction to my team.
Cleats and khakis need to be a thing. That is a look. He's got the look.
Yeah. Ugh. All right. Enough of spreads.
When you break it down, though, Jim Harbaugh is kind of a dork.
He is a big dork. He's got the nerd glasses and yeah.
He is something. You can't even make him up.
Nah. It's like a creative coach. I know it says a creative player. It's like a creative coach. How idiotic can you make this guy look? You got khakis and football cleats on the sideline. All right. Over-unders. Two good defenses, TCU and West Virginia. The under is low for a reason. 45. What is it?
I think under because West Virginia's defense is legit. And TCU's defense is nothing to shake a stick at either, though. They're not bad. Not bad.
Yep. Yep.
Going over here, I think West Virginia's going to put up a shit ton of points on their own. I wouldn't be surprised if they got up close to 45 themselves.
I like it. I like it. I'm going to go the under. I've taken West Virginia unders all year on this show, and I'm going to continue to do so because the under for them hits every single week because their defense is so dang good. And I don't think – I mean, they held Texas to 17 points. That's an offense that usually can't keep up with its defense giving up points. And they held Texas to 17 points. So I like West Virginia's defense to prevail here. And like Shelley said, TCU's defense is good enough to where I think West Virginia maybe wins this game like 24 to like 10, something like that. I don't – it may not even get out of the 30s. But all right, Sam.
Look, Brian, you can't change who you are. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, you can talk to me all you want about West Virginia's defense. They're still in the Big 12.
That is true.
They don't play defense. You know what I mean? Like, that's not what they do. There's going to be like 70 points scored in this game.
I'm going to warn you here, Sam. I've been doing that all year. I've been terrible with Big 12
I
spread.
haven't been on this yet, and I'm going to be 100% right.
I love it. I love it. Just because Shelley's picking over-unders, the over is going to hit in this game.
Naturally.
Yeah, naturally. All right, Arkansas and Florida. I'm an oddball here, and I don't know how to feel about it. But Shelley, go ahead. The over-under is 63.
All right. The quarterback that plays for Arkansas that they called their starter. And I use starter very liberally here. I'd more consider him a crash test dummy with the way he plays football. Felipe Franks. I hate him.
The biggest waste of a 6'7".
I have no reason to. He's done nothing to me. But when you're given that kind of talent, physical talent, you know, he's got a strong arm in practice. Haven't yet to see it in a game. I don't trust your offense. At Florida, well, Felipe Franks' replacement is honestly a top 5 quarterback in all of college football in Kyle Trask. And I think Florida's going to score about 50 points by themselves. I don't think Arkansas is going to score more than 10. Give me the under.
All right. Smitty.
I'm going over here. I think this game will be tight through the first 3 quarters of play. Going into the fourth quarter, I think Florida will blow it open. With that being said, I think it's going to be close to 63 points within 3 quarters. I think Arkansas has kind of been a sleeper. I really like what I'm seeing out of their offense. They just haven't really put the puzzle pieces all together yet. And I think when they do, they're going to be a above average offense, and I'm excited to see them play this week.
All right. I'm rolling with the over here. Florida might put up like 55 points by themselves, and then no matter what, Arkansas is going to score because Florida's defense is about as porous as an SEC defense can get. I'm pretty sure every single over has hit for Florida this year, so I'm going to kind of use the same logic as West Virginia. Why not keep rolling with it? So, yeah, I like Kyle Trask to throw for about 14 touchdowns in this game, if that's even possible. But, Sam.
Yeah, I'm going the under. I think Florida's going to smack them, but I just don't think it's going to be over 63. I think it's going to be probably like a 45-14 kind of game. So, yeah, I'm going under.
All right. Last game here, SMU at Tulsa. The over-under 64. We love some good American Athletic Conference football. A lot of scoring. A lot of scoring, especially when UCF plays. Woo. I was about to say smelly, and that's just combining you two, so that's not good. Smelly.
I have been referred to as smelly in the past. I think that was someone messed up my name, or I don't know. It's definitely not the way I smell or anything like that. Maybe my picks, but not me.
Smelly.
SMU has disappointed me this year. This is an offense that I thought was going to be one of the top in college football. They're just going to put up points left and right. Cincinnati, I'm going to highlight that game specifically because that is a game that I thought they would have been in a little bit more, and they got blown out. And their offense was nowhere to be found. Tulsa is not a bad football team. This is Tulsa. This is a Tulsa team, I believe, that took – who did they take down to the wire?
I believe it was Oklahoma State, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and that's –
they lost to Oklahoma State 16-7, and they beat UCF.
And I think that's an Oklahoma State team that is still very good, that probably had a little bit more credit than they deserve being in the top 7 in the country. I think the under's going to hit here.
All right. Ready.
When I think of SMU football, I think of just points being thrown up on the board. And I know that's kind of their reputation is a high-scoring offense, and I'd agree with Shelley. I mean, they haven't put up the points like I thought they would this year. With that being said, I can't hit the under here. I have to go over. Something about SMU, I can't go under with them just because of what they've done in the past.
I like it. I'm going to go the over as well. So in the second half of that game against Memphis, they scored 3 points. Since then, they've scored 37, 42, 51, and 47. That's a recipe for an over in a 64-point total. And Tulsa has scored 30 points in every game but one this season. So I like the over here.
You abandoned me, Brian.
I did. I originally had the under because all I can keep thinking about is that SMU just didn't score in the second half of that Memphis game. But I haven't watched SMU football since. And I looked at their schedule and I'm like, they're just putting up points. So why take the under? So, and also life's too short to throw the under. So
You made that pick because I went with the under.
correct.
It's okay. You can admit it.
Horrible at picking over unders. So
You can admit it. It's fine. It's fine.
all right, Sam.
I'm going to go the over. I have not watched SMU or Tulsa. I haven't watched Tulsa since I played them my junior year. Didn't watch them before knowing we were going to play them in the bowl game. Didn't watch them after because who really cares about Tulsa? You know what I mean? So we went in that game and it was a 55-52 game against Tulsa. So I just came to the conclusion that they don't like to play defense. So there's probably going to be another 100 points scored in this game, just like the TCU West Virginia game. I'm going over.
Love it. I love it. All right. Quick locks of the week.
All right. Time to get really amped up for this game right here.
Man,
Certain
I
team.
forgot to say it. I think Louisville's going to beat UVA this week.
Oh, my gosh.
Go ahead,
All
Chad.
right. All right. Due to COVID-19 and a team's inability to manage said situation, a game that was supposed to occur last week will occur this week. And I'm not talking about Virginia because they've done a great job this year with handling COVID-19. I believe as a team, UVA's only had like 5 to 10 cases, which is quite impressive. And that's from like June until now. This is a team that has been revitalized with Brennan Armstrong returning to the offense. You don't have to watch a Lindell Stone throw like Uncle Rico anymore. The savior of UVA's offense is back. Brennan Armstrong is back. Charles Snowden, the Hawk, as I like to call him, has just been on an absolute tear defensively. This dude is racking up sacks. Like I don't even know what to compare it to. Louisville is a team that is garbage. They're garbage. They don't know what they're doing. Offensively, defensively, they're terrible. Give me UVA minus 3.5. Book it. Book it.
Really love the under in that game of 66.
Yeah, give me that too. Actually,
Uh,
no. Wait, no. Don't give that to me because then they'll jinx it. I've been really good on UVA spreads this year, though.
Yeah, we did pick UVA to beat UNC, so
And I also picked UVA to cover against Clemson.
which is also big.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good teams win, great teams cover, and if you don't win, you might as well cover.
This is getting me absolutely amped up to watch basketball now because UVA was just
UVA
picked.
horrible.
No, because
Football.
and this is also a big warm-up game for the biggest game of the year where we play Albany Christian
Well, that's big.
University.
It's a good thing you don't play William and Mary again this year.
Hey, we don't talk about that.
Yeah. All right, Smitty.
I'm going Marshall over Middle Tennessee.
Okay.
I'm going SMU over Tulsa. And then for my final one, Northwestern over Purdue.
Is this your parlay?
Both those teams are shocking to people. Actually, didn't Northwestern get blown out last week? I'm pretty sure Northwestern lost by like 40 to Iowa last week.
Yeah.
That's a bold pick on your part.
If you're really
It's Purdue.
if you're really confident in your picks, you make this a parlay.
Okay. So if you really want to see how confident I am in these three?
Oh boy. Oh, no. Oh, good. Oh, the Raging Cajuns.
Lord team parlay can't lose.
Love it. Love it.
Calling me now.
So wait. Oh no, Northwestern beat Nebraska. It was Michigan State that got blown out by Iowa last week. So your argument is back to being valid. But
Thank you.
But Purdue is 2-0. So
It's Purdue.
never know. All right, Sam, go ahead and give your lock, and then we'll roll with mine to end it up.
Again, this is me believing in Notre Dame. I talked about it before, but I'm going Notre Dame over BC. I really just want someone to dethrone officially Clemson because it seems like it's going to be Notre Dame and Clemson in the ACC championship. So I'm going Notre Dame over BC, keep them rolling hot, and keep chugging along.
See, I would love for Boston College to beat Notre Dame or anyone else for that matter, solely because that just paves a way for Miami to get to the ACC championship.
Wait, hold on real quick. What happens if Virginia Tech right now is 4-2 in the ACC? What happens if they went out? That means they beat Clemson, and I think they would be in the ACC championship. Am I wrong?
I think they
they
would. Because if they
would
beat Miami,
too.
they would hold that over Miami, and they
But
beat
you lost
Clemson.
to UNC. It all depends on what UNC does the rest of the year.
They actually have a far chance. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's sweet. Okay, yeah. Virginia
There are
Tech.
actually a decent amount of ways that the ACC championship can go, given we're only like 6 games into the season, or I think 7 games into the season.
And the ACC is always crazy.
Correct.
If they went out, I mean, they would probably be either the first or second team in.
Yeah.
Like, plus they'd probably be in the top 15, beating beating Clemson, Miami. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they play a Division II school at the end of the year, University of Virginia.
It's a high academic institution for scholars and athletes.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah.
The Virginia Tech
Kind of a big deal.
schedule, so they just throw UVA on there every year.
Hey, what happened to that free dub last year? I believe it got fumbled in the end zone.
Dude, it's like playing your little son in basketball. It's like you have to let him win once.
Yeah.
What happened like the 18 years before that?
Kelly, how many times have you seen UVA beat Tech? And be honest.
Twice.
It's not a lot.
No, it's not. I will admit, it was bittersweet at times when my cousin was on the team because it was hard to root against him. I did. Told him that to his face. Wasn't happy about it.
Nice.
But yeah, that was probably I did shed a tear when they beat Virginia Tech.
Sure he did.
I did. It was an emotional day.
All right, I'm gonna wrap it up here. Florida minus 17 is my lock. I think they're gonna beat Arkansas by about 100 points because Felipe Franks is in his return to the swamp, and he will probably throw every bit of 3-4 picks just because Florida is going to remind him why he didn't play. Or
That
why he
place
got
is the place is cursed for Felipe Franks.
Yeah. Kyle Trask is my Heisman favorite right now. Because I think Florida is going to make it to the college football playoff. That's a bold prediction for a later time, but I like Florida's offense, and I don't think Arkansas is going to be able to remotely hold up with them. So that's my lock of the week.
And I have one thing. I have one thing to talk about before we end up.
Okay. Better be good.
What the heck was NC State doing last week?
They
Oh,
lost
that's
to a
your
far
team.
superior team.
I know. I said their season was done. Next thing I know, I look at the app and they're beating Miami, Brian.
You have to understand here, Smitty. Here's the logic behind it. Miami was 0-6 in the last 6 in games coming off of their last 6 bye weeks. 0-6. They don't win coming off of bye weeks. The fact that Miami actually won that game says something about NC State rather than Miami.
Yeah, NC State sucks.
Correct. But Miami is also, I think, I want to say they're 0-4 in their last 4 games against true freshman quarterbacks. So Miami had everything against them there, even though they were the far superior team. But
I think they were too busy watching the U documentaries, reminiscing of the past. I believe. Seems to always bite that team in the butt every year.
if we beat Virginia Tech, I'll be happy. And take it week by week.
Hey, Brian.
Not happening.
Though, like, I take the game seriously, so like, don't text me during it because we're not gonna be friends anymore, and I want to be friends with you.
I'm gonna show up to your house during the middle of the
I'm
game.
just like, I've told this people. Lauren might need to warn you because like I actually don't do well with it. I'm not kidding. You're gonna have to help him. Like, I'm serious.
It's
I'll
like,
just have to like send you numbers of friendships that I've ruined.
I love it. I love it. All right. Any final thoughts from anyone?
go Cajuns.
I never thought I'd say this, but go Hokies.
Go Hokies.
I
Let's
feel like
go.
I've been teamed up against. Good team.
That didn't feel very good coming out of my mouth, but I feel very confident about it.
If y'all didn't have ball this weekend, I feel like we would all 4 be watching the game together.
I
Just
promise I'm not watching it with you, Brian. I'm not kidding. I think you think I'm kidding when I'm saying.
no, I definitely know. I definitely know.
Like, I don't care if you're my own mother. Like, it doesn't matter. I'm not watching it with you.
As soon as the game ends, no matter which way it goes, I will text you and either. I'm not going to laugh at you because that'd be mean, but I would either probably laugh at you or say that I am very apologetic for my comments on this show. Because it could go just as bad as it did last year. But
I really just won't. Like, I won't text you. I'm a really bad loser. I'm not I'm not good at it.
You're not gonna have to worry about it. Texas
I'm
gonna
a
win.
great winner because it happens a lot, but like, I'm not a good loser.
it must suck to end the season without a national championship.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, you
you've seen
too.
so many, dude. You've seen that many?
I've seen one. That's all.
How old?
I was 2.
Okay, you haven't
What?
seen it.
My dad said I was in the room for the national championship.
You've seen
So
as many
it counts.
as me.
It counts.
You've seen as many as me.
You gotta love it. You gotta love it.
Look, for the record, though, I've been alive for more Miami national championships than you have for Virginia Tech.
True. Fact.
So is anyone.
Yeah. Okay, well, that was mean, but still true. All right,
All right, I'm going to get on that
No, I'm gonna leave.
note. All right. Until next week. Good luck on the picks, everybody.